Hi plant people, and welcome back to the Southerner's Northern Garden. I wanted to do a three-part series on my favorite annuals, perennials, and shrubs of the past year. Now this listing is a list of plants that I've actually grown. I grew them either last year or the year before. I believe the ones I'll be sharing with you in this three-part series are all plants that I've grown the last year. So what's an annual? An annual means the plant that you're planting in the ground in the spring or the summer will not come back next year. So what might be an annual for me in my zone 6A may be a perennial for you. For example, another annual I love that I'll throw in as a bonus is lemon coral sedum. I grew lemon coral sedum 2 years ago. I dug it up and brought it in to overwinter it because it is a zone 7. So if you live south of me, it'll be a perennial in your garden. So lemon coral sedum, which I highly recommend if you live in zone 7 or below, either in the landscape. I have not grown it in container until this past year and it did amazing. I have them in little terracotta containers. But 2 years before that, I planted it actually in the landscape and it just became this huge green mass of beautiful, bright, yellowish green sedum, and it dies down in the winter and it will come back in the spring if you live in a zone 7 or higher. And quite honestly, with the mild winter we had last year, it would have probably survived in my zones. So to survive in zone 6A, a plant has to be able to withstand temperatures of at least -10. Below that is more likely to die, and above that it should be fine. I love Supertunia Bordeaux. Supertunia Bordeaux I've grown 2 years in a row. In 2019, I grew it with Supertunias Royale Cherry Burst, I believe the name it was, and it completely consumed the Royale Cherry Burst until later in the season. They come in the 4-inch containers. They are around $5 a piece, so I know it's an investment. I try to put as many perennials as I can in my garden, but trust me, you cannot get a perennial that does this much work in a season. So I'll show a picture of them when they're planted in the spring, and by the end of the summer they look amazing. They're just a wall of color. Now my mom in Alabama has trouble locating proven winners annuals. There's a competing petunia called 𝗖𝗢𝗗𝗘𝗢𝗍 put out by another company, and quite honestly, I've tried them. You can sometimes find them on sale at your garden center for $6 for $12. They come in a pack of 6, at least in my local garden center. I tried them, and let's just say 𝗖𝗢𝗗𝗘𝗢𝗍 did not wave for me. So I no longer purchase 𝗖𝗢𝗗𝗘𝗢𝗍, I only purchase Supertunias. And the only Supertunias I've ever purchased are Supertunia Bordeaux because I've had such great experience with them. I'm considering mixing it up this year and trying a different Supertunia. Supertunia Vista Bubblegum is also an excellent one if you want beautiful pink blooms. Supertunias, of course, are going to be an annual for most anyone in the United States, except the very southern states. Florida and California, potentially lower parts of Texas. Otherwise, it's a purchase every year. So to get the most out of your Supertunias, I do recommend you fertilize them at least once weekly with a water-soluble fertilizer such as Miracle-Gro. I do like Bloom Boosters by Miracle-Gro. It does seem to allow them to put on more blooms. But also this past year, Miracle-Gro can be expensive. I found competitors at a local Menards that come in a much larger container. That I definitely got more bang for my buck that I'm going to be able to even use this season, probably all season. You'll see in my hay rack containers, I do have them on drip irrigation, so they get watered twice a day. There are, I believe, 3 2-gallon emitters in each hay rack, and they come on for 6 minutes or so twice a day. One thing you may notice about my Supertunias, if you know the orientation of my house, is that they are on the east side of the house. So they only get sun until lunchtime, and then they get, you know, a mix of shade and sun, just not direct, but ambient light the rest of the day. And let me tell you, the first year I planted them in 2019, I was concerned they weren't going to do any good. It was just an experiment, and they blew me away. Despite not having at least 8 hours of sun every day, it was incredible the amount of growth they put on, and it was just spectacular, and nothing can replace those in my landscape. So if you can't find Supertunias at your local garden center, you can order them online. They are a bit pricey, but you can get them directly from provenwinners.com, or you can buy packs of them also from Home Depot. To my understanding, those ship directly from Proven Winners, but you might be able to save on shipping getting them from Home Depot. But note that they do sell out fairly quickly. Last year, because of COVID, stuff just sold out very, very fast online, and I'm expecting the same thing this year. So if you're interested in them, certainly get out there and find them, or get out there and order them now. because you're gonna want these in your garden. Thank you guys for joining me today. Be looking out for Supertunias in your local garden center and grab some and put them in containers or landscape. They do great in both. Stay tuned for part 2 of the series, which I'm going to go over my favorite perennials. I think I'll be throwing in 2 for that one as well. And remember, in a world full of hate, be a light. Stay tuned, guys. Bye.